All right, looks like we have quite a large group here today for this invoicing and AR overview. Thanks everyone for joining us today. My name's Trig Engen. I'm sales engineer for Sysdyne. I'm going to be walking us through first an overview of Sysdyne, kind of who we are and what we do, and then we'll get into our exciting new invoicing and AR. So Sysdyne, we are the only true cloud native software provider. We can provide an end-to-end solution for the ready mix industry. From this graph, you can see we can provide CRM, dispatch, which is our Concrete Go cloud dispatch product, production, which is cloud batch or our cloud batch panel, delivery management, which is iStrata, and that includes time and attendance. That includes GPS, e-ticketing, DVIRs. That is a very large and exciting program. And then back office, which we're going to walk through today. So we've been around for a long time, since 1976. We've always been leading with innovation, with getting Concrete Go into the cloud in 2008. So we've been doing that for a long time, and we are 100% independent. We have 100% autonomy. No producers own Sysdyne. So we're making decisions for our customers, for our prospects, for the industry, and for ourselves. And we have a presence in North America, Australia, New Zealand, South America. So, like I said, we're independent. We provide full end-to-end solution for software producers, full cloud solutions, best-in-class customer service. We really pride ourselves on our customer service. We're SOC 2 compliant for those larger producers out there. And, we really provide peace of mind to our customers and the industry as a whole. Like I said, we've been around for a long time, since 1976, and we spent the first, long while of being around, learning, researching, trying to provide the best solutions for our customers. And now you can see, since we released our cloud dispatch, Concrete Go, in 2008, we've really been on a quick upward trajectory. We came out with iStrata e-ticketing in 2013, and our newer Pioneer batch panel. And then, quickly after that, Cloud Batch, which is our full in the cloud batch panel. We have now single sign-on to make, managing users and user accounts much easier. Customer behavior optimization, which is really exciting feature we have in Concrete Go, which maybe you saw at one of our earlier webinars. And then we came out with invoicing and AR, which we're going to walk through today. And we are excited about this. It's, we are live with a good handful of customers right now, and really excited about where this is going to take us next. Just a quick, kind of overview of our products. Concrete Go is really the heartbeat of the system. This is where data lives. This is where data is managed and ultimately goes out to Cloud Batch for, mixed designs and tickets and customers and all that. We move then out to iStrata, which is delivery management, where we're sending tickets and addresses and directions to the drivers via navigation on the tablet and all that information. Sysdyne BI, which kind of sits on top of all these products, aggregates data together to give you real, business insights on all of the data coming from all of our platforms. Then finally, invoicing and AR. You'll notice that direct connection to Concrete Go, where you're still managing data in one place, like customers and items, categories. Orders are sent over from Concrete Go. So all of that information there's master data, and gives you the ability to manage it easily in one place. We are very API driven here at Sysdyne. We can provide, like I said, the full workflow from start to finish for the ready mix industry, but we also understand that people have their preferences and have their legacy systems in place and want to keep using them. So we are very open to connecting via API to all those. We can connect to many other batch panels. We have good partnerships with companies like Digital Fleet and SlabStack for CRM. We pass tickets to Haul Hub's DOT portal. So we are open, flexible, and very easy to integrate with. So that's a quick high-level overview of Sysdyne, what we do. I'm going to move next into our invoicing and AR platform. So what you're seeing is I am now logged in to invoicing and AR. Again, just like the rest of our products, I'm just using Google Chrome, logged into the website. We offer full two-factor authentication to keep your data safe and secure. You'll notice on this screen on the left is my quick access menu, which is how you access all the different portions of invoicing and AR, customers, plants, items, orders. This is where you're entering your receivables and all your information, all from this quick access menu. I can pin this to the top so it stays in place, or I can hide it to give me more real estate on the screen if I'm looking at tickets and ticket information or customers, or adding receivables into the system. So I'm going to walk you through kind of start to finish invoicing and AR as it sits today. We're constantly updating and working on this system, adding new features. We will also be adding full CRM capability to this system here. So keep in mind what you're seeing today. We will probably have added a significant amount to it in the next, months, quarters, all that as we move forward with this new product. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is really integration points and data management. I mentioned a single place to manage data, and just like with Concrete Go and the others, Concrete Go also manages things like the data for your customers, the data for your plants, your items, which is, mixed designs and products and item categories. And all of that information is managed for the most part in Concrete Go. So just like everything else, just like Sysdyne's philosophy, we want to make data management as easy as possible. So the first thing I'm going to show you from this quick access menu is our plant menu, which brings us ultimately to all of the plants in the system. Keep in mind, as I'm going through this demo, this is a live production environment, but demo data, I've keeping the list small to make the information easier to see and understand. As you start implementing this product, we'll put all of your plants in this system, all of your trucks, which I have 2 in the system, all of my employees in the system, as well as all my sales reps. So we have places in Concrete Go to define drivers or employees versus sales reps. So you can track that information separately and again, manage it all in Concrete Go. So this is one of the main integration points with the system that you can easily manage from one place. All of your customers stay in Concrete Go, so you're adding and associating orders to different projects within Concrete Go. Those lists are all mirror images of each other because they're all pulling from the same databases. So this is all of our plants, trucks, employees, sales reps. Over here on the right is just a quick, easy way to manage the screen. If I have a ton of tabs open, it keeps all your data separate, but I can close them all in many different fashions as I want. I'm just going to close them all, clean up my screen, and I can move on to the next thing that I'm doing. The next item I'd like to show you is items themselves. So items and item categories are pulling from your items in Concrete Go and your items and categories in Concrete Go. So the categories are where you can break down all of where to post this revenue to. You can break down by mixes. You can, fiber can go into another account. Automatic charges can go into another. These item categories are pulling from Concrete Go, but are how we're sending information to accounting ultimately. And again, mixes. This is where all of your products and items live, as well as your mixes. Everything is a mirror image of what you have in your Concrete Go database. Moving on to customers. So I'm going to show you my customer listing, again, which is small because it's demo data. But if I wanted to take a look at one of my customers, you can see all the information that's coming in directly from Concrete Go. Customer codes, names, email addresses for your contacts, phone numbers, sales rep information, all of that information lives directly it lives in Concrete Go, but is shown here in the accounting data. Again, one easy place to manage data, but shown within the invoicing and AR database here. We also have credit information. Now, this is actually one of the things that's managed here from invoicing and AR, because this is where you are ultimately pushing credit status back to Concrete Go. For example, if a dispatcher or someone taking an order takes an order that will put that customer over their credit status. This credit status will automatically be sent to Concrete Go, and it will suspend that order until an authorization code is put in to either release it or collect payment where necessary, make the changes that are needed to get that order out to the customer. So we're managing credit here, but because of the integration, we're sending the data right back to Concrete Go so it can be consumed and used. So all of that happens here within customers as well as within projects, which are brought over from Concrete Go. So all the projects you have for your customers are managed here. Again, if we have projects that are going to be pushing the customer over their credit limit, it will suspend it and require an authorization code in order to move forward. So I'm going to close out this screen. I'm going to go to my orders listing. So I can see all within my orders menu. I can see my tickets, my orders, and my invoices. So I'm going to open all of those up. And the first thing we're going to see here is all of my sales orders. So again, coming in from Concrete Go, we have orders from the past, whether they're fully shipped in full, partially shipped, or active. I can see all the information associated to those orders that came in from Concrete Go. The way orders and tickets and information get from Concrete Go into invoicing and AR is via the priced order review. So as soon as the tickets are delivered and all the information is back in Concrete Go, whoever is a part of that process can then do the priced order review, make sure prices are correct in Concrete Go, make sure all the customer information, delivery dates, pricing, mixes, all of the extra charges, anything that needs to be on that ticket is on that ticket via the priced order review. As soon as that's reviewed and approved, it will send the information over to invoicing and AR for invoicing and ultimately collecting payment. So within each order, you can see our status, you can see our PO numbers, you can see the dollars associated to it, and we have all the information associated. So if I click into the order that I have for today, I can see in this order the mix that I sold, any extra charges, I have my quantities, I have my fuel surcharges and fiber. All that information is coming over because it was approved within Concrete Go as an order ready for invoice, sent it over here, and now I have access to it. I can also see if I go from orders to tickets, I'm going to take a quick look at today's orders, and I can see the information that came in for today. Let's see what we have for interstate paving. You can see I have all my tickets for this job that came in. I have 10 yards that came in on one ticket with the per load charge as well as my fiber, 10 yards on the second ticket, and 4 yards on the third ticket to complete the total of the 24 yards that were ordered and delivered on this order here. So all this information, again, is coming directly from Concrete Go. It's a mirror image of what we see and allows you to take the next step of ultimately invoicing that out. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do an invoice run. So I'm going to pull up my tickets again. I can see all my tickets. I'm going to select my today's date to see the tickets that came in. I can see my 3 tickets. Ultimately, you would see all the tickets for the date I have selected, but you can see I have order 115, ticket number 1, order 115, ticket number 2, order 115, ticket number 3. So we can see the 3 tickets that came in for that order with the 10 yards, 10 yards, and 4 yards to complete the 24 we were looking at. Now all I need to do is select all of my tickets that I want to run an invoice for, go to invoicing here, and do an invoice run. Now it brings up my invoice run. I create it here. Now we can do run groups, but because I've done a selected number of tickets for a selected job, I'm going to select my selected delivery notes. That will allow me to just do an invoice run for the selected tickets. But if I wanted to do a typical run group, I could create whatever groups I have, store them as templates in the system and use those moving forward. But for simplicity's sake, we're going to do the selected. Now I need to uncheck this box. I don't have a printer set up for this environment, but ultimately you would leave that checked if you needed to print out and mail these invoices, or you could also email the invoices as well. So I'm ready for my invoice run. As soon as I click continue, it's going to process and run that. So the invoice was run successfully. Now I'm going to pull up my invoices. I can select my date range, or I can scroll down to the bottom here to see my invoices that were run for today. If I click print, this is where either, I'm just simply going to preview it, but I can preview my invoice. I can see what my email would look like. I can see what it would look like if I printed it on paper and mailed it out to the customer. But what we're looking at here is our standard out of the box invoice layout, fully customizable to whatever you need. But ultimately, this is the invoice that would be sent out from the order that we delivered via Concrete Go and iStrata. So that's our invoice. We've created the invoice. We're now moved on, ready to move on to the next step here, which is hopefully the customer sends in payment for this order. So I'm going to clean up this screen a little bit. I'm going to go back to my quick access menu that's pinned up on the screen here. Go down to my receivables and receipts. So I have an open invoice for this customer. I actually forget which customer that is. I'm going to go back to my orders, back to my invoices for customer number 1. If I go to my customer receipts, all I need to do is click add. If I received a check in the mail or credit card authorization or whatever it may be, I'm selecting customer number 1. I can enter, reference number for the check, period that I'm in, date, all that information. I'm going to say I received a check for $3,000, and I'm going to click save. What that's going to do is bring up my allocation for that payment. So I got a check for $3,000. Ultimately, there's multiple ways we can set up allocations. We can do it automatically, and you can design how you want that to be done. We can do it oldest to newest, newest to oldest, or just no allocation at all, so you can do it yourself. But ultimately, I'm going to clear out that allocation, my auto allocation that I had. I'm going to apply that $3,000 to the invoice that we just sent out, and I need to balance it. So I have the receivable coming in. You can see down here, as long as my balance is at 0, I'll be able to save and allocate that payment to that invoice. Now, if I go back to my invoices, you'll notice down here when I refresh the screen, I still have $645 and change unallocated to that invoice, and I can manage all of that this way. So what I've done, I've taken an order from Concrete Go. I've approved the pricing, sent it over for invoicing. I have then ran the invoice. I've taken all the tickets, run the invoice, sent it out, and received the payment back in here, which is typically the process of invoicing an AR as well as credit management on the customer level. So the other kind of exciting things this can do is cash management. I can connect to my bank accounts. I can manage cash and do bank recs within the system. All of that, we have some customers doing that as well. I can also run customer statements. So if I come down here, go to my customers, I'm going to select a customer here and run a statement. I can select my dates. I'm going to do just a quick preview here, click continue, and run my customer statement. So I have all the information here. I also have my aging down here below. We can customize this. This is our out of the box format for our customer statement, but again, customizable. You can add, change logos and all your information on the screen, make it look how you want it to look. Finally, I want to show you some of our reporting. So from our quick access menu, if I go over here to config, I can see all of my reports. I can search descriptions and numbers and groups and all that. But ultimately, we have a big list of reports out of the box here. We are constantly adding to this. We have AR age detail by date, transaction date, customer receipts, GL trial balances, invoices, all the information you might need for your financial reporting we have here within our config section and our reports. So again, we're constantly adding to this. We can make reports for any customers that we need or, add them to our list here. But this gives you full reporting capability within our invoicing and AR platform. So that is what we wanted to show you today. I hope everyone got a lot out of this. I hope everyone is as excited about this as we are. And I'm going to pull back up our email address here. Now, if anyone has any questions at all, please feel free to email our sales line, and we can we'll have a recording of this to send out to everyone after. And anyone else that wants to see it, please shoot us an email. If you'd like to see a little more in-depth view of any of the products, please give us a call or shoot us an email. Thanks everyone for your time.